Hey everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. Happy Friday. We finally made it to the end of the week, huh? And I am back into the dock up in Sioux City, getting ready to get unloaded here and then headed for the barn for the weekend. But I wanted to tell you this whole story. Old Sleepwalker and I, we loaded at a place in Chicago back in the 90s. We were both pulling dry vans for a company out of Minnesota. Anyway, we picked up these copper coils, and each of us got 5 coils. They were on pallets, so they put the little what they call skid plates, and basically they got, for those of you that aren't familiar, they got little points pointing up, and they got some pointing down. You lay them down under the pallet, and that way the pallet doesn't move. Well, we had those on, we laid those down. Like I say, you only got 5 pallets for the whole trailer, and they put them right in the center of the trailer. They put 2 in the front, and then for added protection so they don't move, we lay empty pallets in between them, and then they put one in the center of the trailer, and then you put some more pallets, lay down some more pallets, and then they'd load 2 on the back end. Like I say, they're all right down the center of the trailer. Anyway, we get these things loaded, and they're going up to Minneapolis. And anyway, we get up into Wisconsin, and we stop and get on the scale to weigh them, make sure we're good before we cross the state scales. And he was pretty heavy on his trailer. So me and the senior driver for the company, he happened to be coming. He happened to stop there that day too. He had slid his tandems on his trailer all the way that he could to get that weight off that trailer, and it still wasn't enough. So the senior driver told him, he says, "Well, pull ahead and slam on the brakes. That'll probably help. Kind of slide everything up a little bit." Well, which was going to be hard with those skid plates and the pallets, but you might gain an inch or two, So he pulled ahead, and he stopped. I think it was about like a normal stop for a stop sign, And I went up there, and he didn't do nothing with it, nothing moved. So I walked up there and I told him, I said, "Do it again, speed up, and then hit them brakes. Don't do it like a girl." No offense to you girls, it's a figure of speech. But anyway, he did. He sped up and he hit them brakes. He put on the binders, and all them empty pallets that we had laying on the floor between them, they all stacked up on top of each other, just perfect, And anyway, everything slid all right. And me and that senior driver, cigar man, we were just back there getting busted to gut laughing, I climbed up in the trailer. I kind of looked at where everything was, and I got back down out of there. I told the cigar man, I said, "Man, I think it's probably pretty damn close to legal now." So he ran it across the scale, and sure enough, he was right on the money. Well, he and I were delivered to the same place up in Minneapolis, so the next morning we get up there, and he didn't have any skid plate, his skid plates weren't holding him in place anymore. He ripped them up out of the floor up there. And we got up there, and all them pallets were, you had one over here and one over here. I told him, I said, "How you managed to not roll that truck on the way up here?" I said, "I'll never know." Or end up with a coil out the side of the wall, But anyway, we made it, and he was legal on his weight. So nobody got any tickets, and nobody died. It was a good day in trucker land, folks. Have a great weekend, and be safe out there, everybody.